Yeah, I got to. So the funny thing is, the amniotic sac and shit, I got to watch that pop out.
That's the placenta.
I got to see the placenta.
Did you eat it after?
I remember how we talked about that?
Yeah.
She refused to let me take it.
You were gonna?
Yes.
Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, dude. That's disgusting.
So here's the thing.
Would you have cooked it first?
It comes out. It looked like a fucking steak. I'm not kidding.
Shut the fuck up,
so
dude.
So it came out and the
it looked
nurse,
appetizing to you?
The nurse came out and she's like, "Do you want to see it?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So she brought
What
it
the
over
fuck?
to us, and it looked like a legitimate, just fresh cut steak. I promise you. You wouldn't know if I brought it to you. You wouldn't even know.
So my question here is, you looked at it and you're like, "Wow, that looks kind of good."
I might have said that to Kelly.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
She goes, "Not a chance in hell. Get rid of it."
It's time for the Garage Boozing Podcast.
What's up, nerds? And welcome back to another episode of the Garage Boozing Podcast. I'm your host, the man with absolutely no plan, the Chase with the face for radio, Chase Shurga. And boy, do I have one hell of an episode for you guys. Once again, I am joined by Mike Weeden, a.k.a. Mike W., as my dad would call him. And wow, we have a great conversation today. Actually, today and next week, because this conversation was so long and we talk about so much that we had to break it up into two parts. A lot has changed in Mike's life since the last time he was here on the podcast. He is now a father and so much more. And we talk about fatherhood, of course, and so many other things. I know you guys are going to love it. So without further ado, folks, you know what time it is. It's time to sit back, relax, kick your feet up, crack open a cold one. And if you're really feeling fruity, take a shot. Why not? Because part one of my conversation with Mike Weeden starts now.
Oh, yeah, it's support for the Garage Boozing Podcast. It is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped will help you trim up the family jewels to make everything nice and right for the ladies. Make sure that you're using promo code TGBP20 for 20% off your Manscaped products. Oh, yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Garage Boozing Podcast. Today, I am joined by one very special guest. To my left, you're right if you're watching on YouTube, we have the return of Mike Weeden, a.k.a. Mike W., as my dad would say. And as you guys know, he is the most frequent guest here on the Garage Boozing Podcast. Mike, thank you so much for joining me once again. How you doing, man?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. And thank you for having me on again.
And thank you for coming on kind of short notice, too. But
listen. It is what it is. You know, I've got a kid now, so, short notice is what it is.
That's exactly where I was going. So last time Mike was here, a couple episodes ago, he was not a father. Now he's a father. So he's dealt with a lot of life changes in such a short time. So, Mike, first thing I want to ask you is fatherhood. What's it like? That might be like a big question, but like, I know before we went on the air, you were saying like, you have a kid. You don't feel like a dad, or you do feel like a dad. What exactly did you say?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, I feel like I'm babysitting a child right now. It's an infant. It's a baby. It eats. It poops. It sleeps. It cries. He.
I
right.
Yeah.
No,
I got what you're saying. But
right.
So you're literally nurturing the fastest swimmer. Isn't that kind of cool?
He wasn't just the fastest. He had the best penetrating skills, and he did what he did to get where he could be.
He knew what he was doing before he knew what he was doing.
That's right. He fell from He fell from a balcony.
I just spit on my computer.
The harness snapped. He went it right through.
Wow, that's awesome. So,
you didn't get the inside joke on that one, did you?
No, what'd you say?
His harness snapped and he fell right through.
No.
Owen Hart died because his harness snapped.
Oh, fuck. Jesus. I get it. Your son's name is Owen.
Yes.
And Owen Hart.
Right.
Wow, that was... For all you wrestling fans out there, we love Owen Hart.
We do. No, Owen Hart is one of the best, and that's why I named my child. Well, I'm sorry. My wife and I, named our child Owen
I was going to ask that. So the name Owen actually came from Owen Hart.
So
That's kind of cool.
it is, and there's a lot of respect for that because we went back and forth on names.
Not to cut you off, sorry.
No, go
I am
ahead.
cutting you off.
You're
Sorry,
good.
Dad, and don't freak out.
No, it's all right, Ray Rod. He's good.
He always gets pissed when I
It's
cut
fine.
people off.
We're talking.
But so for those of you that aren't wrestling fans, and we're not going to make a bunch of wrestling talk here, but wrestling,
We probably will.
yeah, we probably will. It always ends up happening. But Owen Hart was a big wrestler back in like the 80s and the 90s, and he died in a very traumatic disaster. His entrance, he was supposed to come down from like the scoreboard in the arena they were at, and as he was coming down, his wire snapped, and he ended up hitting like the ropes and the corner of the rope, and ultimately died from the accident. So it was a big deal, and it was
Tragic.
a live pay-per-view at the time.
Yep.
But the show went on, which was a little crazy. But I understand. I do understand why the show went on.
So, well, I do and I don't. So that was probably one of Vince McMahon's worst things he did is to make the show go on. Because if the people in the audience knew what had happened, they would have been perfectly fine with leaving with their money back or whatever. Vince McMahon was a millionaire at this point.
Yeah, but you got to think there's people that pay for pay-per-views and stuff, and those are like $60 a pop. Like,
Listen, the amount of money that he may have lost because of the amount of
He'd still be okay.
stupidity, he'd be fine, right? So he actually, and the crazy thing is, this guy was one of the nicest people in the back. I mean, if you know wrestling, you know Owen Hart was one of the biggest jokers, one of the nicest guys. I mean, he was second to Bret Hart, who was one of the biggest world champions that they've ever had.
His brother,
Bret Hart, the older brother that overshined
absolute
him.
legend. Everyone, and I feel like a lot of people know the name Bret Hart.
Right. You know that he had, his pink, the sunglasses, he had the sharpshooter, he was larger than life.
Hell of a theme song.
Right. And the unfortunate part was he was a great wrestler too. Him and Brett put on some great matches together. And we had a lot of respect for Owen. I grew up watching wrestling at this time, so I knew him in the WWF days when he was early he won the King of the Ring. He was huge. He did a lot of tag team stuff. It was great, and he was a nice guy. And
Owen Hart was way better than the Blue Blazer.
well,
That
he was
the
the original Blue Blazer before that, though. That's the thing. He was the Blue Blazer before
Yes.
he was Owen. Well, not before he was Owen Hart, but before he was in the WWF, like mid to late '90s. He was.
But still, it
the
was
Blue
better
Blazer.
seeing Owen Hart as Owen Hart than like the superhero character that they made him, and he was actually playing that character when he fell.
Right. Which is unfortunate because that was one of those things that creative decided that he needed to come from the rafters, make this big approach, and he was against it. It was well known that he was against that. And Vince McMahon and Vince Russo were big advocates for he needed to make it big, It had to be this great thing. Sting was doing that stupid shit.
Yeah.
And, we got to get somebody who does the same thing. And the guy who originally had hooked him up or was supposed to be hooking him up to the rafters and drop him down, he wasn't there that day. It was some other guy, and he didn't know how to do it. So in the process, the rigging snapped and he fell. And
Well, he was dropping too fast, I think, is what happened.
I mean, dropping too fast means you weren't hooked up correctly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
So I mean, he got, and it's unfortunate because I was watching that pay-per-view when I was a kid, and live on pay-per-view. I mean, it's unfortunate to watch this happen. And I mean, you have the commentators telling you that an unfortunate event occurred, and I'm watching it now as an adult, and I'm like, wow, how did I not understand that as much as I do now? I'm like a kid. I'm like, oh, well, it's part of the show. It's part of the show.
Right.
And then the next day, they tell you as it's going on, Owen Hart's at a facility. He's dying. Basically, he died. And then the next Raw after, they're like paying tribute to him. And, as I'm a kid, I'm a teenager. I'm like 13 at the time. I'm no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, I mean, I had my wife start watching wrestling, the Attitude Era. She started back in like the early 90s when Raw first started. So Raw is their episodic Monday night television show. And she's watching. She likes certain people. And
It's
then
the
Owen Hart.
longest weekly episodic TV show on
It is.
television.
It has not missed a beat, even though the Westminster Dog Show has superseded it time after time, and it's made millions and millions of dollars. Back in the Attitude Era, which is the late '90s to the early 2000s, you had 8 to 9 million people viewing this show live, which is insane. I mean, now it's different. You have, you can basically watch things on YouTube. People aren't usually watching live TV anymore, so it's a little bit different.
DVR, stuff like
right,
that.
Right. So all the numbers are a little skewed, but still, wrestling right now, you're only getting $1 million to $2 million.
You know what I love about? I shouldn't have said I love, because I don't love the whole thing that happened. That was absolutely terrible. But I like that something like that happened back in a time where like people didn't have a cell phone camera come out and record it and stuff like that. Because if that happened nowadays, there's people out in the crowd recording, and that video of that guy dying would be all over the internet.
And it's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, and I'm a big Reddit guy. Like I follow a bunch of shit on Reddit, like wrestling stuff, and like a bunch of shit on Reddit. I don't know. I like watching ghetto fights on Reddit, like wide variety. Anyway,
it's scary shit on Reddit.
Oh my god! I followed this one thing. It was like called Gore and More. I didn't think it was going to be too bad.
That.
I scrolled a couple of videos, and I get to like the cartel beheading. I'm like, nope,
Yep. Oh yeah,
unfollow. But anyway, like that shit would be all over Reddit now. Like oh my god.
So there is footage of it.
No, there's pictures.
No, there's footage. But you will never see the footage because it is in WWE archives.
Oh, you mean like WWE? Of course has
they
footage.
Have footage
they have cameras,
of it.
Like yeah.
That is the one thing they will never ever release. It will die.
Why would you?
Somebody wants to make money somewhere. Money is popular. I mean, it's the number one thing people are looking for. So
money makes the world go round.
Unfortunately, yes.
I love money. So
listen, the more money you get, the happier you are.
I agree with that.
You're broke ass.
People that say money doesn't buy happiness, you're a fucking liar. You're a fucking liar.
It doesn't buy happiness.
It doesn't buy happiness. It makes happiness. It creates it. Because I'll tell you, I'm very happy. I'm very fortunate to where I don't get anxiety, shit like that. Like I have a very happy life. But if I had $1 billion in the bank account, I bet you 1 million.
Right.
Actually, I bet you 500 million.
I'll take whatever you give me.
Yeah, I'll bet you 500 million that I'm a lot happier with $1 billion in my bank account than the $12 in my bank account right now.
Well, see, I'm at a point right now where I make enough money to be happy. I buy extra shit. I mean, I just bought a championship title that...
Grab that, can you?
Yeah, I can
grab it real quick.
All right, I'm going to take my headset off for a second.
That's a good idea. I'm going to itch my earlobe because it's itchy for some reason. What do you have in your hand right there, Mike? Around your shoulder.
Hold on. Let me put my headset back on.
That thing's as legit as it gets. I said we weren't going to talk much wrestling. Here we are talking about a wrestling title belt.
We have to. So this is a nice undisputed WWF championship title. The first ever undisputed champion was...
Chris Jericho.
Okay. All right.
I said it before you even finished the question.
All right. So anyways, yeah, I got money that I can spend on stuff, and I just spent it on this. It came from Pakistan, so it took a little while to get here. But,
that's a hell of a title. I love that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite titles.
And you can just splurge and buy something like that and not have to worry about it.
It's not about splurging. It's about enjoying life.
Absolutely.
So to me, this is an enjoyment for me.
Me too.
I buy stupid shit all the time. I bought a camper. I only use it a couple times a year, but I bought it.
Dude, I buy so much dumb shit, but it's because one, I'm not gonna like kill the bank account if I do. And I'm at the point where it's exactly what you said. I make money and I can spend and treat myself sometimes, still save money and stuff like that, still be in a very comfortable spot, but not have to worry about it. So we're very fortunate in that aspect.
Right. And that's where I'm happy. I mean, yeah, more money would be great, but
you would be happy with $1 billion in your bank account.
I mean, the thing is, what would I do with it? I have no idea. So I'm not going to go on a giant vacation. I just had a kid. So
bring your kid on vacation.
What the fuck is he going to know? Yeah, that's what he does. He looks at me and he just drools. Right. He knows
a little bit of puke.
A little bit. Yeah, sometimes it's a lot. It is what it is.
Do you have puke in your beard yet?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. You know what? It's funny because before I would have been upset or whatever. I'm just it's in my beard.
It doesn't even gross you out.
It's my kid.
Can we go back to the kid talk?
Yeah, we can do that. Let me put my title away.
Yeah, put your title away, champ.
The champ is here.
Champ is here. His title is way better than my garage boozing title. I need a new one now.
I'll give you my guy.
All right, so
anyways, as far as the baby talk goes, yeah. So I mean, I've got a kid. He doesn't really recognize me. He does and he doesn't. He's on the 29th. He'll be a month old.
I was just gonna say, yeah, he's fresh.
Yeah,
that's a fresh.
He
baby.
came 2 weeks early. It was kind of scary, kind of not. It's I got a pregnant wife, and I'm bringing her to these appointments. She had COVID, so they're like, we need you to come over week after week because the babies that have come out with COVID have had some sort of issues possibly. So like she came, we went up on a Wednesday and they're like, hey, we need you to go to the snuggery at Glens Falls Hospital, which is where we went to. And they brought us in and they said, hey, X amount of levels are too high.
You got to have this baby now.
Well, basically they're like, you can go home if you want to, but our suggestion is if these levels are high and they're getting higher, it's going to possibly have an issue with the baby. And the higher the levels are, the more chance that you may have a stillborn, which isn't good.
Not good.
No.
That's terrible.
So,
I feel bad for anyone that happens to. That's horrible.
absolutely, yes. I mean, we've gone through shit here and there. We're all human. We've had issues, but we're like, okay, so
Something like that, though, that's a big deal.
oh god, yeah, it would be bad. Yeah,
That's sad.
So
That's heartbreaking.
I can admit that I was kind of being a little selfish, and I was like, I got some bowling tournaments I got to be in, so so can we hold off for like a day or two? And they're
Big
like,
bowler.
they're like,
No.
you can. We don't suggest it, but you can. So we ultimately decided to stay, and they induced her about a week and a half to 2 weeks early. And it took from Wednesday night until Friday afternoon for her to give birth, and it was painful for me to watch.
Was it a C-section or she like?
No, it was a full born.
So can they force it out early like that?
So they put. I don't know the exact terminology behind
We're
it.
guys.
But what they do, right? I'm here. I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Squeeze my hand, honey.
Right. Well, I mean, I was there. I helped, which is way more than I thought I was ever going to do. No. I was there. I was there. We'll get to that.
I don't really know if I want to know.
So what they do is they like put like this thing inside of the woman to essentially like start.
All right, buddy, you're coming with us.
No, what it does is it loosens the inside of the woman so that like she can,
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, being men, we have no idea what this means,
Yeah.
but the dilation eventually gets more and more and more, and then she's in pain for like 12 hours, getting these contractions, which are insane, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I wish there's something I could do.
Was she angry? Like I feel like a lot of women are like, ah!
I mean, you think about it. There's a lot of pain involved in that. We
I don't
will
know.
never
I don't
experience
wanna
that
know.
pain. And I told her, I was like, listen, the amount of pain that you just went through, I have way more respect for you.
Oh, totally.
I mean, I had respect for her to begin with because she punches like a strong girl. But
Inside joke.
yes, but you can imagine like the amount of pain that she's experiencing. Like I'm watching it on the graphs on the screens, and I'm watching it go up, and she's like in so much pain. I'm like, I can't do anything. So what I did is I just ordered a bunch of food, and I ate a bunch of food.
You ate by yourself?
Yes. Well, she at one point in time she couldn't eat anything because she was getting nauseous. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna order food for you and me, and I'm gonna eat all of it. So she wasn't very happy with that, but
That's fucking awesome. Draft Top. The Draft Top was designed to give you a better all-around drinking experience, and let me tell you how. You take your Draft Top bar tool, put it on top of your adult beverage, give it a little squeeze, not too hard, a little bit of friction, a little to the left, a little to the right, a little to the left, a little to the right, and wha-bam. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me demonstrate this. If you're listening, I'm sorry, you just got to hear me talk. But yeah, then you pop your Draft Top off, take this, push it down just a tad, and now your beer just became a cup. So forget about wasting plastic, pouring your beer can into a cup, into a red Solo cup, if you will. It doesn't matter because now your Draft Top just made your beer into a cup. So now you can chug your beer a hell of a lot faster. You can smell the aroma of the alcohol. The experience of drinking here is just so much better thanks to Draft Top. So go get yours now. I want you to have one, you want you to have one, and you can get your own Draft Top at www.drafttop.com. And don't forget to use promo code GarageBoozing for 10% off site-wide. That's right. It doesn't matter what you get in your Draft Top cart, 10% off site-wide using promo code GarageBoozing. You know how to spell it. Don't be a fool. Buy your Draft Top right now. Treat yourself. You deserve it. All right, back to the show. So I will say, I cannot wait until Owen W. makes his podcast debut one day. That'll be a good time.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
Which is funny. If this thing is still going in 18 years.
18? If he's 8, I'll bring him on.
I love it.
Consent is all about the parent, and I give consent.
Good point.
I mean, if he's able to talk and we can talk to our Godfather Chase, then I know we say Godfather, but no, there's no such thing.
Yeah, Mike's not. I'm the imaginary Godfather. I
Right.
claim to myself.
He's
I
pimping
claim to
hoes nationwide.
I love that.
Yep. But yeah, so as far as the name goes, Owen is based on Owen Hart, and our love for the human being.
Explain
And
the shirt you're wearing.
So I'm wearing a shirt that Owen Hart donned at I believe it was a Raw after a pay-per-view. I'm not 100% sure what the pay-per-view was, but Owen Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody knows who Stone Cold Steve Austin is.
Hell yeah.
I can never do that good.
He botched a pile driver.
That means you fucked up.
It was a miscommunication between the two wrestlers.
For you non-wrestling
And
fans, that means he fucked up the move.
He didn't fuck up. It was a miscommunication.
It was a mistake. Like me, I was a mistake.
Stone Cold was not holding on to Owen Hart in the correct spot. Owen Hart picked him up and he put his head into the ground between his feet, or between his legs. He could not move. He eventually pinned him. So
Barely.
the shirt on the back of the shirt, it says, "I just broke your neck." So Stone Cold had this big thing about Stone Cold 316.
Which was a play off John 3:16 from the Bible.
Gave up your only begotten son.
Right? So, Owen 16.
So Owen 316 is a shirt that Owen donned on the Raw after he broke Stone Cold's neck as a play on that. Because Stone Cold was still alive and he was still good and he eventually came back. He was the Intercontinental Champion at the time. So it worked out well. I believe it was an Intercontinental. It wasn't European.
There was something.
Yeah, it was a championship. So I ordered this shirt, and my child was born at 3:16 p.m.
That's fucking awesome.
which is amazing.
I didn't even know that. That's so fucking funny.
So Owen was born.
Did you
3:16.
have that? Did you have that Owen 3:16 shirt before?
No, I bought it after.
Oh, that's so fucking
Yeah.
cool. Did you know that was a shirt? When you,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, because you and Kelly
We're watching it.
Yes, and
Yes.
Kelly is his wife, who we mentioned many times. So you guys were going through old wrestling
Right.
shows, and then your son's born at 3:16, and
Right.
you're like, and his name is Owen, so you're like, oh my god, I gotta
Perfect.
The second the kid comes out, oh my god, I gotta get Owen 3:16 right now.
No. It was funny because like I said, we went in on Wednesday, and by Friday morning, she's like, "This is bad. We need to do something about it." So like they gave her the epidural. I believe it was Friday morning, Friday early afternoon. I mean, don't quote me on it, but she started no more pain. They null everything down, and she's like, "Things are going crazy right now. I'm feeling like we need to push." And the nurse came in, and she's like, "Yeah, we need to do this." And this was like 2:45, and
Oh my god.
we started pushing. By we I mean her, and I'm helping out. Support mechanism. And no, there was no he who he.
It was just
no, because there's no pain.
oh she didn't, oh you
Right,
you
she
did
got
say
the epidural, so the pain is gone, and she's just pushing.
I don't understand people that don't want to be medicated or like any of that when they're like going through, why would you not?
So we were in the hospital, and one of the nurses like, yeah, the patient next to us doesn't really want doesn't want any pain medicine, and we're like, yeah, we can tell. For like 24 hours, she was like screaming. She's because those contractions are painful, and
Yeah.
Kelly was being in pain. She's like, I want that epidural as soon as possible.
Give it to me.
Oh yeah, she got it. We're good.
Can I have
so
another?
she's pushing, and at like 2:55, I'm like, hey, if you push hard enough, we can have him at 3:16. And she's like, that's great, let's do it. And the nurses are like, there's no way. It usually takes 2
You actually
hours.
said that?
Oh yeah.
Oh no way.
Yep.
No way.
I was like, we got to do this. Let's do it. And
I was born at 5:14, which my dad actually didn't even remember.
I was born at 11 something, but I don't know. But I will always remember my son's.
My grandparents have the news article on the fridge. That's the only reason I know I was born at 5:14 p.m. But like 5:14, like I'd much rather trade that for 3:16. That's
Right?
Cool.
No
yes,
shit.
that's so fucking cool.
And I'm like, you need to push. Let's go. And she's like, I don't want to be doing this for 2 hours. Let's do it. And she's pushing. And like
I'm surprised.
3:14, I'm like, let's do it. And she pushes him out. 3:16, done.
3:14. Let's do it. No, wait, hold on. Wait, 30 seconds. Hold on. It's almost 3:16.
Looking at the clock, holding on, looking at the clock, done.
I'm surprised the kid didn't come out. Another beer. Another beer. Oh hell yeah!
I can't get him beer yet. No.
So yeah, okay. So the name Owen ultimately came from Owen Hart.
Essentially, yes.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yep.
So back to the dad thing. So okay, let me pull up my list here because I did have a couple dad questions. Oh, actually, a question I didn't have listed that I didn't want to ask. Did Kelly poop?
No.
She didn't poop?
Nope.
Everyone poops, I thought.
Everyone does.
And Kelly didn't?
Nope.
No shit?
Nope. No shit.
Oh, no pun intended. I didn't even mean it like that, but...
It's funny because, like, she even asked, she's like, did I poop? And they're like, no.
They say you don't even know you're pooping.
No,
Because
well, no.
it's the same sensation.
It
Like,
is.
You're doing the same thing. It's like you're pushing a shit out, but a kid comes out instead.
Right. Well, yes, and that's what it is. She said, I feel like I have to poop. And that's that's what it is. That when because you have the epidural, it's putting so much pressure on it that there's no pain, but there's pressure.
And she
So
literally
like,
didn't poop?
No.
That's wild.
It was amazing.
That's awesome for you.
And I got to, well, no, I didn't care either way. I mean, at this point, I'm watching my son get born, and I'm like,
were you were watching like...
I was holding her leg and like helping.
So you saw...
There wasn't enough nurses in there because it was happening so quickly. They're trying to get people. I'm like, I'm helping. Let's do it.
So you saw her vagina go from like that to like that, and
I watched my child come out of it. Yes,
dude. I don't know if I could do that.
Listen, I said the same thing, and I thought that I was going to be up by her head all the time, and I wasn't going to worry about it. But as soon as I got in there, everything changed. Like, this is my kid.
And that's your wife, you know?
This is a forever thing.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens. I just want her to be safe. I want her to be healthy, and I want him to be safe and him to be healthy. And everything worked out well. I mean, he ran into some issues. And we'll talk about that, within the next whatever amount of minutes. But, it was great. And I watched it happen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything between her and I.
So you literally watched him come out all gooey and gross and like...
Yeah, I got to. So the funny thing is, the amniotic sac and shit, I got to watch that pop out.
That's the placenta?
I got to see the placenta.
Did you eat it after?
I remember how we talked about that?
Yeah.
She refused to let me take it.
You were gonna?
Yes.
Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, dude. That's disgusting.
So here's the thing.
Would you have cooked it first?
It comes out. It looked like a fucking steak. I'm not kidding.
Shut the fuck up,
dude. So it
dude.
came out, and the
it looked
nurse,
appetizing to you?
The nurse came out, and she's like, "Do you want to see it?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So she brought
what
it over
the fuck?
to us, and it looked like a legitimate, just fresh cut steak. I promise you. You wouldn't know if I brought it to you. You wouldn't even know.
So my question here is, you looked at it and you're like, "Wow, that looks kind of good."
I might have said that to Kelly.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
She goes, "Not a chance in hell. Get rid of it."
And dude, I mean, I'm not knocking you because it's a thing. Like people do
it's
do
full
that.
of nutrients, because that is what was the lining to give Owen his nutrients.
So if they said, "All right, you can have it," what would you have done with it? Like take
well,
it
no,
home, put it on
they
the grill?
asked if we wanted it.
Right. So if Kelly was like, "Yeah, take it. Yeah, go ahead."
Well, no, they tell you could freeze it because that is.
How would you have eaten it though? Would you have cooked it on the grill?
I don't know.
Or eaten it raw? Like
no, God, no. I meat raw. No, I like to cook it a little bit. But
is it meat?
That,
is it meat? I thought it was like it was like a stomach for the baby.
I'm telling you, it looks. Well, no, it's a sack, but then they flip it open and it's where he was. He was basically put into a sack.
Yes,
and it was a lining. So you
I
open
get
it
that
up,
part.
and there it is. It
but it's not meat.
That piece looked like a fresh cut steak that you could get at the grocery store.
And you were actually interested in eating it.
It kind of looked like. Let me think of something. Yeah, I was interested in eating it. Yeah.
So if Kelly was like, "Yeah, you can eat it," you would have like eaten it.
If she gave the okay, I would have done it. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even it right there, but I would have been like, "Can you?"
Yeah, right when it comes out.
No, I'm not that weird. I'm weird, but not that weird.
No, like I said, I'm not going to knock it because like
it is also like slightly cannibalism, isn't it?
Yes, I would think
it's human meat.
It's not meat though, right?
It is meat.
It's a sack of meat.
No. The sack
is the meat.
The sack is where he was. But when you flip it open, like she pulled it out and around. You could see the sack, but then there was this chunk of meat. Like
it's called placenta, right?
It's the placenta, yes. But it is like a chunk of meat inside of that sack.
Isn't that like?
It's like his barrier, his wall. It's a great wall of placenta.
The walls of Owen.
Right.
Jesus. I mean, like I said, I get it. A lot of people do it. I guess it's very...
Well, no, I guess what they say you could do is keep it because it has so many nutrients in it, and you could potentially get like DNA and stuff like that, nutrients for the baby if something were to go wrong.
So put it in your freezer, and it's just like...
I don't know. I mean, it looked like.
Well,
I'm
glad
steak.
you didn't eat it. It looked. I love. You said it looked like steak 7 times. So I'm just picturing Mike. It's just like, oh. God.
Well, it's like cube steak.
I like tube steak.
You seem like you do. No, cube steak.
I don't know what that is.
It's kind of like when you like hammer the shit out of steak and it like kind of looks like a desert.
Oh, I've seen pictures of it because I've asked this. We've had conversations like this before. Like,
Right. I mean, you can't be afraid of that stuff because it's all natural. I mean, I thought that I was going to be like, oh, I can't go near that. I don't want it to ruin anything.
I just can't believe she didn't poop.
I mean, if that's what it is what it is. You know, she didn't, but it is what it is.
All right, folks, let me tell you all about the pump action shotgun tool. Whoa, there's a tool for shotgunning? Hell yeah, there is. So listen to this. The pump action shotgun tool, created by the Drunk Engineers. Love that name, by the way. It makes shotgunning a hell of a lot easier, and let me tell you how. So you're going to take your beer, and you're going to stick it right in the shotgun tool, like this. Hold it like that so the air pockets are up here, and then you're going to give it a little squeeze. You're going to hear pop, bam, pop. But look at that. No mess. So right now the air pocket's right up here, and you're going to want to make sure you take this, push that down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the tool. Hold the beer can in place to the mouthpiece. Then you're going to put your mouth on the mouthpiece and shotgun. And boom, no mess. You can shotgun at the dinner table, family events, wherever you want with absolutely no mess. So forget shotgunning, slamming a knife right through. Yeah, not a thing anymore. Thanks to the Pump Action Shotgun Tool by Drunk Engineers. And you can get yours right now. So just log on to www.drunkengineers.ca. Don't forget to use promo code GarageBoozing for 15% off site-wide. That's right, promo code GarageBoozing for 15% off site-wide. Go get yours now. Thank me later. Back to the show. So, Owen W.
Yep.
What's his favorite thing to do?
He's less than a month old. I mean,
Yeah, and?
So he really, really likes screaming at me. He cries a lot. I don't know if it's me, but I tell Kelly he hates me. And she's like, he doesn't hate you. He doesn't hate you. I'm like, well, every time I do something, he screams at me.
He's in Kelly's arms all fine.
Yes.
Let me have Owen.
He'll scream at me. I'll feed him. He'll scream at me, and I'll be like, take him. And she'll take him, and he'll just go to sleep.
And be all happy. Yep. I feel like that's a common thing for newborns.
Well, I mean,
so.
he was inside of her for
Right.
8.5 months. So, yeah.
Now, I don't know if this is a personal question, so if it is, I'll edit it out. I don't think it is. Does Kelly breastfeed?
So we started with that, and that is actually part of the issue that we ran into is her milk didn't come in because I think he had a problem with latching. So like,
What do you mean her milk didn't go? Oh, her milk didn't go into his mouth?
well, no. So what happens is it's like it's this natural thing. So at the hospital, we were trying to get him to like latch onto her nipple and actually pull the milk.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry.
I mean, I understand. Yeah,
You said
it's a
nipple.
Yeah,
You said
right.
nipple, so
Right.
I laughed. Sorry.
Her mammary glands. Yeah, right. So when he grabs on to a bottle, and you can see it now, when he grabs onto a bottle, he does this thing, and we make fun of him for it. He goes, and I'm like, what are you trying to motorboat this shit? So it's like he doesn't know how to like get on and really like suck. So when he,
I'm so immature.
It's fine. So when he gets on, and you could see this when he got onto her boob and like actually like was trying to latch, he couldn't get grab a hold of it. It was like he was gumming it because he is gumming it, but like he couldn't get a hold of the nipple and like pull.
Couldn't
and
suck the milk out.
Because of that, her milk never came in because he wasn't like pulling hard enough and wasn't grabbing hard enough and wasn't getting enough nutrition, and because of that he lost a lot of weight. So we went to the pediatrician, and they're like, he's way underweight, this is bad.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
No, he left the hospital. He ended up with jaundice, which is yellowing, which is a liver issue, and it was worse when he left the hospital because
His skin was turning yellow?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
god,
Well,
that's gotta be so scary.
It was weird because like he had this yellow tint to him. We're like, this is not good. So like the first 3 days we were like running around like, what do we do? What do we do? And we went to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician was terrible. So we went to Bennington Hospital, which is close to us, and we sat for like 1 to 2 hours with one of the nurses, and she gave us more information than we've gotten in like a week. And they're like, hey, you need to supplement as much as you can with formula. I understand you want to do breastfeeding, but he needs to get nutrition. He's not getting enough. So, I mean, long story short, we ended up going 100% formula because her milk never really came in. So we're at the point now where he drinks a fuck ton of formula.
Milk drunk.
Oh God, he does. When he drinks a lot, like he's at a stage right now where he's, like I said, he's less than a month old, and he's drinking enough right now where should be at 3 months old.
Oh, he's gonna be a fucking linebacker then.
He went from underweight to a little chunker.
Though that's good though.
Yeah,
that's a good thing, especially
and
for a
I
baby.
agree.
Totally.
And I was like, eat as much as you want. You meal as you want.
You would much rather at that
Right.
age have your child be overweight than fucking
right. And he wasn't pooping, and we're like, this is not good because
Well, Kelly didn't poop.
I know, but that was once. He didn't poop for like 3 days, and we were concerned. So, but now, the good thing is he's at a point now where he's at a good weight. He's eating a lot, and the good thing is we have a formula issue right now with the way the world is.
Well, that's not good. That's bad.
It isn't. It is good for me because he's not picky. He's like me.
He'll
he eats
eat
anything.
You're right. Okay.
So we started him out with something that was simple and easy. It was already pre-made Similac, and he loves it. And we had a bottle warmer. Oh God, he does like the motorboat's great.
Give me the milk.
Yes, yeah, it's fantastic.
I love the first time you did that. So funny. He's like,
But he's great. It's funny because he may scream at me and I may get frustrated with him because
why are you yelling at me?
exactly. I mean,
what did I do?
Right. So
Love
having a newborn is like dealing with a drunk person. And like an extremely drunk person, because you think about a drunk person has no idea what's going on. They're just like, what's going on? I love life. Things are fantastic. And they scream at you for no reason. And they poop and they throw up. And they do all
Drunk people
sorts.
suck.
Well, no, I always thought, and this is something that Kelly and I both shared, is drunk people are like babies. But in reality, babies are like drunk people. Because, we have this baby. He lays there and he sleeps, and he'll wake up and start screaming. And we feed him.
Is it like in the middle of the night and shit?
Yeah. He's supposed to be on a regiment where he's like every 3 to 4 hours.
I don't know what that means.
Like a schedule.
Thank you. Why didn't you just say schedule? Like, why don't you just say on a schedule? Why do you say on a
regiment?
Yeah, regiment.
Right.
Why say he's on a regiment? Why not just say he's on a sleep schedule? So much easier.
He's on a feeding schedule.
Okay,
it's
on a
sleep
feeding. Okay,
schedule.
a feeding schedule. Why not say that?
He's not. He isn't. He isn't. So
why not say that though?
Because it's what came out of my mouth.
Nobody knows what regiment.
That's not true. I'd say 90% of your viewers do.
And 100% knows what a schedule is. So
right. So schedule yourself out of here.
All right. Sorry.
So he was on a schedule for a while. I'm going to use schedule now.
Thank you.
He was on a schedule for a while, and then he got a stomach virus. And
oh my God.
Oh yeah, we've experienced everything.
Jesus, dude. In a short time.
Oh yeah, less than a month, and we've experienced that. But you know what? We live and learn. Kelly had the same stomach virus. She got. I think she might have had it before, and they both had it at the same time, and then she got over it. And it takes a while for him because he's his immune system's still working.
He doesn't have an immune
well,
system.
he does.
Basically.
He's got what she gave him.
Right.
And because he was breastfeeding at the beginning, she was still giving him some immunities to it, which is good. And he came out of it, which is good. But for like 3 days, he was off and on, off and on. I mean, he probably pooped 30 times a day.
That's disgusting.
Because it was all liquid.
Baby poop is gross.
Well, this was like if you were to have diarrhea.
Stop. Okay, go ahead.
But put it in a diaper 30 times.
And you change those diapers?
Yeah, and I don't mind it.
It doesn't gross you out?
Not at all.
That blows my mind because
I will talk to him and be like, dude, it's in your balls. What
and
are
then
you
he'll
doing?
be like, I hate you.
Yes. And I'm like, hey, calm down, buddy.
Dude, it's just in your balls. No big deal.
Right. And
oh, that's disgusting.
But he came out of it good. But ever since then, it's been about a week now since he's been off of it, and he's on kind of a schedule, but he's cluster feeding, which means he's growing. So he's eating more and more and more, and he's almost at like 30. He's at like 30 ounces a day, which is amazing because he's supposed to be like 18,
right?
Which is, he's a linebacker, sure. I'll put him at that. He'll be the new Braun Strowman or something.
Braun.
He's either going to be a wrestler or he's going to be a nerd like us.
Like you.
Us.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. You're right.
No, like my wife and I. You're not really a nerd. You play one on TV.
I play one on TV. Fuck. What?
But yeah, like having a kid is amazing because, like I said before, he may yell at me and scream at me, and I feed him, and I just talk to him. He has no idea what I'm saying, but I'm like, "Hey, dude, what's going on? Come on!" And he'll just stare. He stares through your soul. When
Dude, baby eyes, dude. Baby eyes are just like so.
He just
big.
stares right through you, and not only that, but like when you're talking to him, you can realize that he's kind of getting something, even though he may not. He'll smirk at you and he'll smile and he'll laugh, and it completely drowns out any sort of like hostility or anger or anything like that. Like, damn it, this is innocence.
He had to smile at me. Fuck.
Yeah.
At first he's like, ah, and you're like, why are you yelling? And he's like, haha.
Yes,
you're like, oh,
exactly.
shit.
I can't do anything about it. It's
yeah, like
amazing.
stop crying. Like that's gonna work, right?
And that's what I mean. A first child, you have to learn all sorts of stupid shit, and I don't know how to take care of a kid. I didn't go to classes. I mean, I probably did, but I probably slept through them at Home and Careers or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like I didn't bring a baby home. We didn't take care of a baby. Having a kid at home is like it's a brand new experience. So Kelly's taking care of him for the most part, and I'm trying to alleviate some of the late night so she can get some sleep, which is good.
What a guy.
So I'm trying to do like the midnight to 2 a.m. type of until I go back to work. But I mean, she's doing better with it. I'm doing better with it. It's been almost a month. It's a learning experience.
That time is going to flash before your eyes.
It already has because, like I said, he was so tiny. Like you put him in your car seat and he disappeared. Like where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Now I'm holding him like you're a chunky little bastard, and I love it because like he'll stare at me. I'm like, you kind of look like me, but you kind of don't. I think you might be the milkman's kid.
You might be the milkman's kid.
We joke back and forth. He doesn't speak at all, but I joke with him, and he smiles.
And he has no idea what you're saying, but he's like,
no idea. But he's got these giant blue eyes and tiny little nose and his mouth, and like he'll stick his tongue out at me, and I'll stick my tongue back at him. It's like it's something you will never ever experience until it's yours.
I love that for you, dude. Like that's so. I'm glad he's doing better now too.
Oh God, it was scary. Yeah, but yeah, it's
so like
much better.
he is okay now. Everything is like
his numbers are all up. He's getting chunky.
You want a chunky baby. You want a chunky baby.
I agree. Yeah,
totally.
I was a chunky baby. So.
Yeah, me too. I was the biggest, fattest baby out of all my siblings, and I'm the smallest.
Right.
Well, out of the boys anyway. But.
It is pretty amazing. You know what I mean? It's the once in a lifetime experience that people experience sometimes 12 times.
Yeah, right.
But it's the first kid is always going to be strange. I talk to people who have had kids over and over again. They're like, the first one, you're always careful with him. I mean, I pick him up with his legs and pick his head up. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I do the Simba thing with him. I'm like,
right,
and he may not like it.
He has no idea what's happening.
Right, and
the second you go, he's like, I hate you.
Yes. So it's like certain things. I try to dress him up, and we had this little like dinosaur costume that we put him in. It was a onesie, but it had like dinosaur legs, and I'm like, I pick him up, and he can't walk, obviously.
Obviously,
so I'm like picking him up.
If he could walk at less than a month old, that's a fucking superhuman.
Here's the thing: they call them COVID babies because women who have had COVID that have kids, like their neck muscles are amazing.
Flu babies.
This kid picks his head up and he like moves it around, and we're like, "What are you doing?"
Because you're supposed to hold it, right? Because it's so heavy at the end.
I'll put him on my back, like my chest area to burp him, and he'll pick his head up and he'll like slam his head against me. I'm like, bro, calm down.
Oh, he's gonna get pissed off when he's like 14 years old and you take his video games away. He's gonna be headbutting the wall.
That kid doesn't know how strong I am, but he will.
He will.
Right. So it's kind of funny. He's strong for his age, but
he gets his strength from his mom.
Oh God, yeah. She punches like a strong girl, and he punches like a strong baby.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so happy for it. I can't wait to meet him. That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
All right, nerds. Well, that's all we have for part 1 with Mike W. So make sure you tune in next week on Thirsty Thursday for part 2 of this conversation with Mike W. And let me just say, if you thought this part of the conversation was great, we're only getting started, baby. So we will see you next week.
Hey, nerds. Please don't forget the #1 way to support the brand. Buy some merch. We've got hats, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and it's all available to you at www.garageboozing.net/shop. And don't don't forget to follow on all your favorite social media accounts as well as YouTube at Garage Boozing. And of course, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, whatever the button may be, to the Garage Boozing Podcast on your favorite podcast platforms so you can be notified as soon as a new episode is released.
Ladies, gentlemen, and nerds. Do you have what it takes to be a guest on the fastest growing alcohol chugging and nonsense talking podcast? Well, now is your chance. The Garage Boozing Podcast has new guests every week, and you could be one of them. Just simply log on to www.garageboozing.net, click the Be on the Show tab, and submit your information. It's that simple. Join the boozement, or be a loser. Don't miss your chance, because we're taking this to the moon.